Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Anna Vanilla Arts. I would like to show you in this tutorial how to make a hat like this with two complementary colors, contrasting colors, and I'm doing at the moment a rib stitch, which is stretchy bit of a hat, so it stretches without stretching too much. And this is a special way that you can knit. It is to stop it from stretching too much after many washes that you might how many washes you might do with this hat. And this technique is very easy, very simple, very friendly for beginners, and I'm going to show you how to cast on the loops, so that in case you are a beginner, you don't know how to cast on, I'll do the cast on and then I'll do the rib stitch. I'll show you how I knit this hat with a rib stitch. This hat I'm doing for my mom yet again. She has a small head and she has 16 centimeters high, I use 80 stitches for her with 4.5 needles, like this one, needles 4.5, or sometimes I use even 5 needles, number 5. And this hat is very simple to do. I'm going to show you the easiest ever technique on how to finish the crown of the head in this hat, and I'm going to show you, and you'll be surprised that you've knitted a hat even if you thought it's always something, let's say, challenging and very difficult to do. No, the hat is in fact very simple to knit. There are a few techniques and I'll show you the easiest and the simplest one. And let's begin with casting on. So I have wooden needles here, 4.5, and a woolly yarn. So we do a loop like so, like this, like so, tighten it, put it through the needle, and we take the right finger, the thumb, right finger, sorry, yeah, and we just do it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's easy to do with this finger, but also there are others that do like so, with a thumb, like so, like so. And you cast on 80 loops if you've got a small head like my mom. If you have a head like me, then you need to cast on 85 loops, 85, 86, and if it's even bigger, then you add a couple more loops. And this way you can knit the first row and then the second row. This is just to show you how to start. So the first loop we do not knit, and the second loop we knit it like so. And we knit like this until I show you how to do the rib stitch. For this hat you need 2 colored yarn. I have 2 balls of yarn here, acrylic. They're both acrylic, and let's begin. Let me show you how to do the rib stitch, which doesn't stretch too much over with washing the hat and so on. So the first loop we do not need, we just transfer it onto the right needle. Then we need 1 purl stitch like this. The thread, the wool you put on the front of the second needle, and you turn it around and you grab it like so. Then we put the yarn behind this needle, and with the help of the first right needle we grab the loop like this, not like this. We do not need this loop. What we do is grab it like from behind, like so, and release. Now again we knit the purl stitch, so the yarn has to be on the front. We knit it, then we grab the front stitch from right, like so. So purl stitch, grab it like this, release, purl stitch, grab it like this, purl stitch, and we knit like this until the end of this row. Then I'll show you how to knit the second round to get this rib stitch in a way that it doesn't stretch too much over time. Now we do the second row. So first loop we transfer it onto the right needle. Second loop we knit it as a purl stitch like so. Then we knit it as a front stitch like so. Then again purl stitch, and then again front stitch. Mind my odds and ends is recycled yarn, so it's not perfect. So purl stitch, front stitch, purl, front, purl, front, purl, front, purl, and this is how you knit until the end of this row. So basically we knit these 2 rows, we repeat them over and over again. So it's very easy and very simple to do, to get the rib stitch like so. Another thing, important thing, is how the loops are looking at you. How they look like is how you knit them. So you see front stitch, you knit it as a front stitch. You see it as a purl stitch, you knit it as a purl stitch. Again, front stitch, and then purl stitch. And this is how you do with the second row. And then after this I'm going to knit this hat. Now this rib stitch I have made, let's see how many centimeters. Okay, 7 centimeters. But you can make, because it's a hat, you can make 4 centimeters, 5, 6 centimeters, how big you want it to be. So it's all up to you where you want to stop with the rib stitch. And then after this, I finished my rib stitch up to here. I'm going to knit again in green and then again in red, and I will vary the colors, and I will knit simply with the stitch knit. So I do not knit the first loop, and then second loop I knit it as a front stitch, third as a front stitch, fourth as a front stitch, fifth as a front stitch, and everything else as a front stitch. And then on the back we knit all with a purl stitch. So as you can see, it formates at the back purl stitch, so you need the purl stitch at the back, and then on the front stitch front stitches, and you vary the colors however you like it. In this instance I've got green, I've got red. You can choose black and white, you can do whatever color you like, how many rows you wish. You can make a contrast between the two colors. Maybe you can knit in 3 colors. And then so you need, if you have a small hat, you need 16 centimeters. If you have big hat like myself, I knit the height from the beginning of the knitting, from rib stitch here up to like 16 centimeters, because it's for my mom. But for myself, if I was to make this hat for myself, I would need 20 to 23 centimeters, so that I have enough space for my hairdo and so on. So you choose how you continue and how many and how long you want the hat to be. And after that, after I will knit several rows of different colors, 16 centimeters, we're going to meet up, and I'll show you how we can decrease the loops in a way that it hugs our head nicely. I mean the crown, I'll show you how I do it, and it's the simplest way, the simplest crown you can ever do. And if you are a beginner, you will be amazed how easy it is to knit a hat, especially a hat like this. This is the hat, the progress of a hat. As you can see from the rib stitch here, I have made 2 rows of each color of the red and green. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rows of red. Actually not 8, but 16, because I needed on the front 1 row and on the back 1 row, so it means it's actually 16 rows. In green is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, also 8 rows, and it's the height of this hat from here to here is 17 centimeters, exactly what my mother, the size of my mom's head, and this head belongs to her as a new hat that I've made. I've made more than 20 hats for her, and as you can see, this is a recycled yarn, acrylic yarn, a recycled acrylic yarn. And now, as you can see, I've knitted all with front stitch, and then on the back I've knitted with a purl stitch, all of them with purl stitch. And so as you can see, I've knitted 2 rows of green stitch. So now we need to use red color to do the decrease to do the decreases. So we need the first loop because we start a new color in this row. So 1, and then we meet up, we pair up these 2 loops, and we knit it with a front stitch, like so. 2 loops with a front stitch, and this is how we knit until the end of this row. And then we knit all row of purl stitches, and the decreases we do just on the front side, as I mentioned before. So 2 together, 2 together, 2 together, 2. I also am going to knit with 2 rows of each color, even when I do the decreasing of the loops. I forgot to tell you that, for example, if you have bigger head, then of course you need to knit not 17 centimeters but 20 centimeters, 23 centimeters if you do an updo to your hair. And so we need 2 together until the end of this row, and then the last loop we knit with a purl stitch. This is something that I do all the time in all of my knittings. I always knit the last loop with a purl stitch. Purl stitch, to make sure the edge is nicely done. This is a kind of like a secret for the knitters, is to not knit the first loop and knit the last loop with a purl stitch. And this is we do in every row, in every stitch, in every garment that we make. Now we do the crown, continue doing the crown of the head. So after the red we go back to green. I mean, if you really want to do the same colors as I have here, you're welcome to, but if you have other colors, you can also combine with the 2 colors that you might have. And don't be afraid of colors, because colors always look nice together, and especially green and red always looks charming, especially when you do accessories or a Christmas jumper or something like that. So we continue. So we knit the first loop with green because we change the color. Now we take these two red loops and we pass through them and grab the green yarn, and we knit these two together with a front stitch, like it's a front stitch. And the same way we do until the end of this row. Now we knit second row, which is the back of a hat, so we do not knit the first loop, and because it's the same color stripe that we do, so we do purl stitch, purl stitch, purl stitch, and until the end of this row you do just purl stitches inclusively. The last loop is also purl stitch. Don't forget, this is the decreases that we do here. I'm explaining to you, but I'm explaining to you is in fact the easiest and the best for beginners. So bear in mind, it's very easy to do this type of decrease in a hat. So we turn around and we grab the red yarn again. And we knit the first loop because we start a new color, like so. And now again, two together. We need two together, two together, two together as a front stitch, two together as a front stitch. And the last one, purl stitch. So now we do not knit the first loop, we do purl stitches. All this row we do purl stitches. Make sure everything is a bit tighter, because when you do decreases it becomes a bit more spaced out, the rows and the loops. So now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 loops. So when we have on the needle around 10 loops, if it's 12, 14 loops, then what we need to do is to cut the yarn to the size of the hat. So 1, 2, and another half, 3. We cut it. You count the yarn to be nearly 3 times to the length of the head that you were going to stitch, to sew up. So up to 3 times it will definitely be enough for you to be able to sew up with a needle like so. plastic needle, it might be metallic needle with a bigger hole meant for sewing up. And so this is what we do now. We take this yarn that we cut and we take 2 loops and we grab this yarn through like as if we're knitting with it, but what we do is we pass the whole yarn through. So the 2 loops are already in here on this yarn, and now the 2 like so. This is what I do with every hat that I knit. In the end I take 2 loops and pass the yarn through. We take the needles and we put them aside. We take the needle for sewing. So now we tighten up, and we need to turn to the reverse of the head, and tightly pull this circle, and we take and we make a knot to make sure it does not unravel, like so. This is enough to stop it from unraveling, and now we need to knit with a mattress stitch. This is a type of stitch that everybody should know because it's so simple to do it. So you see this plot. So you grab the 2 plots, 2 rows from the inside like this, and we pull it, but we make sure we do it in a way that it continues the rows as you sew up. So to make sure it continues the rows. So green line and we tighten up, stitch up, sew up. You see, so it continues. As you can see, I have finished the stitching. You nearly can't tell where it goes, what it looks like, the finishing touches. are just so amazing with this amazing stitch. I think this stitch is probably one of the best stitch used for a hat. You can use this stitch even to do cardigans and sweaters. So now I'll show you how to hide the yarn. So now you turn it on. You take this needle with the yarn on the opposite side, and we find this plot, and we kind of almost like we knit with this needle around this plot. We make a knot to make sure it does not unravel with wear and tear. So, and then we hide the yarn, we finish it, we hide it. Now I'm going to cut it and show you quickly how I hide. For example, this is this is a knot, and what we need to do is use a little hook, or maybe a broken hook, or maybe any other hook, and you pass through the loops this yarn. Take a second piece and we hide it into the next plot carefully. You nearly can't tell where you hide this odds and ends. Like so. You can't even tell where it's hidden. And we hide upper loops off camera. And this is the finished hat. I'm going to measure it on my mom's head and see how it looks like, and I'm going to look at mannequin and show you how it looks on mannequin. I hope you like this tutorial and subscribe to my channel. More tutorials, more things will come soon, so please stop by and subscribe, and let's do beautiful things together. This is how it looks on my mannequin. My mom has worn it already. It's fantastic. It keeps her warm. She said it's this double yarn just keeps her warm, her ears warm, and the crown is fantastically done, even if it's a simple decrease that we've made. And as you can see, I've made sure it continues the lines, the stitches, the colors, and this is how it looks like. So I hope you will do this tutorial and make a beautiful hat for yourself as well, and to please others in your life, other beautiful people in your life, and with beautiful things like so. And hopefully we can meet up together on to next tutorial, maybe another hat or something else, we'll see. So thank you very much for watching. Hopefully we can see each other in a new video. Please subscribe and we can create beautiful things together. So good luck in doing beautiful things and pleasing your family members and your friends with beautiful things like so. And see you soon in the next video. Bye. Thank you.